They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness, talking all of this madness. They talking all of this madness.
What's going on, everybody? You are watching, you are listening to the Matt Madness Network live on YouTube. I'm your host, Alo Aaron Lloyd. Clap it up, clap it up. Thank you. So, what we got for you guys? So, Dixie Carter.
Shut up, bitch!
That was wild. We will get to that shortly. So, make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thumbs up, like, comment, anything for the algorithm. Anybody that is watching live, feel free to chime in. Your comments will be read and we can have a conversation on air. So salute to everybody watching. So we have Saturday night's main event happening this week. It is going to coincide with Fanatics Fan Fest. And there's a couple things that I think that could actually happen. And we will talk about that shortly. So we'll start right here, which will probably be the main event. It will be the new WWE champion, CM Punk, teaming up with his SummerSlam opponent, Cody Rhodes, to take on Gunther and Sami Zayn and Uncle Teddy special.
A tag team match.
That's right, player. So, as we all know that Cody Rhodes was attacked by Gunther a couple weeks ago, and Sami Zayn was forced to defend the WWE Championship against. He was forced to defend the WWE Championship against CM Punk with a last-minute addition. And on top of that, he lost the championship. And we saw last week about the Sami Zayn crash out, and we got Cody Rhodes and CM Punk have an interaction on SmackDown where CM Punk essentially said that any place, anytime, same thing that Cody has said to him after WrestleMania. So now the match is official at SummerSlam. We are getting Cody Rhodes and CM Punk for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, but this is the stop here. Now, Sami Zayn we have not heard from. So in Sami Zayn, he's kind of seen directionless because we don't know where he goes at this point when it comes to that. And we are speculating that Gunther will face Nick Aldis, the SmackDown General Manager, who was reinstated last week. We did a video about that. I did a video about that last week, so you can make sure to check that out. So it's interesting here because in about the 2 weeks that we have to get some kind of substance between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. It can't just be the whole, we kind of been missing each other. We kind of been going in separate directions. We finally meet. CM Punk even said, I think I was even avoiding you. That's why I didn't say your name in his promo on SmackDown the other night. And like I said, there's something that needs to happen between these two. Because nobody is going to boo CM Punk against Cody. I don't think there's anybody that's going to boo Cody. Anybody's who's going to boo any opponent Cody can have that's going to get booed. And if you want to see Cody Rhodes in the main event, this is who you want to see him in the main event with. Because Cody Rhodes, he's had, I don't want to say a rough going around, but Cody Rhodes has not been that interesting in the last few weeks. Well, actually, almost a few years ever since he finished his story. And now we have this with CM Punk, the match that I think that everybody else wants to pretty much watch. So we have to get something here. I'm interested to see what kind of role Nick Aldis plays in this because he was attacked by Gunther on SmackDown. And I'm interested to see how we're going to get to that match of Nick Aldis and Gunther since he is the general manager of SmackDown and he's officially reinstated. But like I said, the key fact to this is we still have not heard from Sami Zayn. And not hearing from Sami Zayn is actually a big deal because we do not know what we're going to get from Sami Zayn. We saw Sami Zayn crash out, and that was about it. Still have not heard from Sami Zayn. So I'm going to go with Cody and Punk to win the tag team match. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys are predicting. Let me know what you guys think what kind of shenanigans they're going to be. I'm very interested to see everybody's point of view on this. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. All right, so next up is the match I'm looking forward to probably the most for Saturday night's main event, and that is the Women's Tag Team Championship match as Fatal Influence, Laney Reed, and Fallon Henley, they're going to challenge for the W Tag Team Championships against Brie Bella and Paige. And Fallon Henley, she sat down with Cody, and she had a couple interesting things to say about JC Jane and Laney Reed. So we're going to hear what Fallon had to say. Fair use.
Together, 10 years ago at this point, at the same place. So we've known each other our entire careers.
Yeah.
So that helps in us being a unit and working together and being cohesive. And we brought Laney in, and she's just a sponge. She's always learning. She's always listening. She takes what we say and she uses it. And all together, we're all our different selves, our individual selves, but we all just work so well together. And I mean, clearly you can see. All
right. So that was Fallon Henley and her comments about her teammates, Laney Reed and JC Jane. And you guys know how I feel about Fatal Influence. I've been a JC Jane fan since day one. And when they had Jasmine Nix involved, I never really see much improvement from Jasmine Nix in particular. I just didn't see it. And then when they were trying to branch Jasmine off, but it was only because she was not renewing her contract, and they brought Laney in. Laney was somebody who I thought was interesting because she made her, I guess maybe you could say her NXT TV debut, because I know she was big on Level Up and the fans actually loved her on Level Up. But she had that match with JC a pretty much when she first debuts on NXT TV. And they have this big, and ever since then, she was pretty much trying to be on Fatal Influence. And you guys know how I feel about NXT's women's division. I don't know what kind of super soldier serum they're feeding the women down there, but the women down there are all excellent. You know, they knock it out the park every time. And a lot of them come in with very to little no wrestling experience, and they are fantastic at what they do. And Laney Reed is no different than them at all. Laney Reed, she puts on bangers herself. You know, she's fresh to the business, as Fallon said. She's a sponge, but she is really good, and she's only going to continue to get better. And I am a big fan of Laney Reed. I have high hopes for all three of these women. We'll get to JC Jane a little bit later, but I do think that this probably is about to be their time to shine because, for example, we know that Paige and Brie Bella, they had their championship run, and their run has been pretty much, I don't want to say lackluster because they defended the championships pretty often, and they've had a lot of victories. But the thing with those two is that every time they win, it seems to essentially be by scaring their teeth, roll-ups, and they're painting them as these veterans, and they're using their veteran instincts to win. So everything is essentially a roll-up. Even in one-on-one matches, when Paige beat JC in London, it was a roll-up, and that's how they've been kind of sneaking by. And I talked about Fanatic Fest, and Nikki Bella has been confirmed for Fanatic Fest. And she's also said that she's pretty much out her cast or walking boot. So maybe she comes in and evens the odds in this match. But I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Fatal Influence finally winning the W Tag Team Championship. And I cannot wait because I have high hopes for all three of these women. I think they're all excellent. I've been a Fallon Henley fan for a long time as well. JC Jane, day one. Laney Reed, first time I saw her when she fought JC Jane for the NXT Championship on TV, I thought she was great. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know what you guys think is going to happen. Will we see Nikki Bella? Will we see Fatal Influence finally get their moment at Madison Square Garden? So let me know what you guys think. So this is interesting. So we have Danhausen. He will take on JD McDonough. This is now a no disqualification match. Now, Danhausen, I keep talking about how how I had no expectations for him on the main roster when he debuted. None whatsoever. I thought it was essentially going to be a joke, but it has been further from a joke because he's been a big deal on WWE television, and the fans actually love him, and he's made a very big impact. And it's all salute. And also, it doesn't hurt him that the Knicks won the championship after he uncursed them and cursed the Cavaliers. So salute it up. So we have that, and what he's done with the Judgment Day has actually been fun. Like, he cursed Liv Morgan. She tried to get Danhausen to curse Obafemi for Dom. Dom and JD, they go give him some money. He takes the money and doesn't give it back. Then he curses Liv at King and Queen of the Ring. Night of Champions, he curses Liv. And then he curses JD, who electrocutes himself immediately. And then he curses Dom and calls Dom his gauntlet match against Javon Evans on Raw Monday night. So this has been really fun. And it's going to be interesting watching this because of this being in Madison Square Garden. Danhausen is going to get an amazing reaction because of what went on with the Knicks and his role in them winning the championship, kayfabe or not. He was essentially one of the poster childs for the Knicks during their championship run. So Madison Square Garden is going to love Danhausen. And we already know that Fanatics Fest involvement. We do know that the Knicks will be there. Jalen Brunson is supposed to have an interaction with Roman Reigns, but we do know most of the team should still be in attendance. I know Kat's going to be there. So this could be a lot of fun, especially with the no disqualification stipulation. So I'm going to go with Danhausen to win this match. I think everybody's pretty much set in stone and should agree with me. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you guys think kind of foolishness is going to happen in this match. So let me know what you guys think. All right. So next up, we have Bayley will take on Lyra Valkyria. Now, this match is getting interesting as well. Bayley and Lyra, they lost their W Tag Team Championship match to Brie Bella and Paige on the June 22nd episode of Raw. And after that, it was essentially a crash out for Lyra Valkyria on Bayley. And I talked about this last week that Lyra Valkyria's promo was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. There's nothing more that you could ask for when you watch that promo that she had, that backstage vignette that she had. There's nothing more you can ask for. That promo was fantastic. And there's nothing more you can ask for because, for example, like Lyra Valkyria, she's been given a lot. She's been the Intercontinental, the WIC champion. She had that one-day tag team championship run with Becky Lynch. But Lyra Valkyria, she's been a constant on WWE television since she's been on the main roster. And a lot of people haven't really taken to her because of the babyface stuff, trying to be perfect and the things she has to say and things like that. But Lyra Valkyria, she does get it done in the ring. And a lot of people, they have feelings towards Bayley, the way Bayley's been underutilized. And you guys know how I feel that Bayley, about 10 years, Bayley's been there for 12, 13 years on the main roster for 10. And what else is there for her to do? Bayley's done everything. There's nothing more that she can do. And I talked about in the video from last week where Mercedes Moné, she teased Bayley in a Wrestle Dream poster, and we have not got confirmation about Bayley re-signing with WWE. We haven't heard anything about that. So I think that this is a way for them to write Bayley off TV and write her off until her contract expires, because WWE has not been shy about writing you off TV earlier than expected, so you can actually move on. So they can actually move on. There's nothing else that they're going to do, so they'll let you sit home for the last couple months of your contract. And they've done that with Ricochet, for example. And I don't think Bayley will be any different, because I do not think Bayley will resign with the company. I think Bayley is AEW bound. I really do. So I personally think when it comes to this match, I do not think that this match is going to have a finish. I think this is going to be a disqualification. And I think that we'll get this culminated at SummerSlam between these two, because this has been fantastic. They really have. Like, Bayley was, Lyra, she was telling Bayley that she's the worst of the 4 horsewomen, all of her complaining and things like that. I thought Lyra has delivered in both of these promos that she's had in the last in her last 2 times on TV. And I'm loving the broken crash out look, broken crash out dirty look for Lyra. It works because it's money. It really is. And I'm looking forward to this a lot to see what we get from here. But like I said, I do not think we get a finish here at all. But I'm going to go with Lyra Valkyria to get disqualified in this match, and we get the rubber match at SummerSlam. And this will write Bayley essentially off WWE TV. So we'll see if we get that at SummerSlam. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know what you got. If you love what Lyra's doing. Let me know if you think Bayley's leaving for AEW. Let me know what you guys think. All right. All right, let's go. All right, guys. So Rhea Ripley, our WWE Women's Champion, she has not been on WWE TV in weeks, and speculation was coming out that she was injured, and Rhea Ripley essentially confirms that injury at the UFC event this past weekend. Fair use.
I am. Sorry. I am. Unfortunately. Hopefully soon.
This match is 5 rounds.
I hurt my knee. Yeah. I got a slight tear in my meniscus, so it's just healing. It's getting there. It's getting stronger. I can't bend it very well. So kind of needed to bend, guys.
How long what's the recovery time like?
I don't know. I tore it in a really weird spot, so it's kind of a little bit up in the air with just how fast my body recovers. But I've been out for just over a month now. I think it's been a month and 1 week.
But it feels better now.
It feels better. It still starts to hurt and throb and it gets tired, and I can't get up or bend down really slow or kind of move side to side while crouching, because it gets stuck. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, so that was Rhea Ripley, our WWE Women's Champion, on her injury, because we have not seen Rhea Ripley in weeks. And people have been talking about, okay, when's she coming back? How serious is injury? And we finally got a confirmation from her herself that it is a torn meniscus. And her SummerSlam availability is in question. And as I was saying before, this puts a lot up in the air, because as far as when it comes to the women on SmackDown, there's not a lot that have a lot going on, because it seems to be that as far as Rhea's injury, it had put some stagnant when it comes to, for example, JC Jane, because that was been reportedly who's going to be her opponent, who I think it should be her opponent. So that put a lot of pause on what she's got going on. And then on the other side, nobody else has been involved in anything of value at all. They just haven't. And I'm interested to see where they actually go with this, because like I said, you can go with JC Jane, and we got 2.5 weeks or 2 weeks until SummerSlam, so we have to get something. Whether or not Rhea ends up vacating the championship, that's something that could actually happen. Whether she can suck it up and go, they could sit there and try to make some kind of injury angle for a match, so it could be in and out for Rhea Ripley. But it is common knowledge that she is injured. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of this woman, and I will champion her to the death of me. I do believe that JC Jane should be the one, whether Rhea Ripley can go or not, to dethrone her to become the WWE Women's Champion. She has been fantastic. And like I said, I do think that a lot of her momentum is paused because of Rhea's injury, because she's been helping out Lainey Reed and Fallon against Paige and Brie, but that's about it. As far as anything for her by herself, there's not been much for her to actually do. So I do think that no matter what, JC Jane will walk out as the women's champion at SummerSlam, but Rhea Ripley's injury is confirmed from herself as a torn meniscus. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen at SummerSlam. Let me know what you guys think about JC Jane potentially becoming WWE Women's Champion at SummerSlam in the comment section below. All right, guys. So the final part of Dark Side of the Ring for Battle for TNA. Try this again. All right, guys. So the final part of Dark Side of the Ring Battle for TNA aired this past Tuesday, and I'll call this the downfall episode, because this is where everything went to hell. And we all know from the first 2 episodes of the Dark Side of the Ring Battle for TNA, we know that Jeff Jarrett, he founded TNA. We know that Dixie Carter was already working for him. He was in a bind, and Dixie said that, hey, my family has money. I'm just giving you guys the quick version. My family has money, and her parents invested in TNA. And then slowly but surely, Dixie would try to get power from Jeff. And in part 3, we learn about the downfall. This is when she pretty much gets Jeff almost completely out of the company. And this is when she also talks about, for example, Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff being brought in. Now, in this episode as well, we saw Jeff Jarrett and Karen. We saw them talk about their endeavors with after TNA with Global Force Wrestling. And even when TNA was sold, we learned that, I knew this, but when TNA was sold, TNA was doing a collaboration with Global Force, and Jeff thought he could rekindle the old flame, but slowly but surely it did not work out in the long run. Now, interesting is the fact that Dixie Carter is not in this documentary at all. And 2 people in particular who were involved in TNA were Jeff Jarrett and Vince Russo, who were heavily featured. Vince Russo was heavily featured in this as well. So Vince Russo had a lot to say about this. And let's hear what Vince Russo had to say about Dixie Carter not being in the Dark Side of the Ring episode. Fair use.
Backer, I did not see her anywhere in the 3 episodes. Why not?
Well, I know for a fact, because he has said it. Jeff Jarrett contacted Dixie to be a part of this show. Okay. And Dixie turned it down. Now, Coach, listen, I always try to put myself in everybody else's shoes. I know, looking back, God, Dixie probably went through 10 times the amount of pain at TNA than I did. There's no question about it. It's probably a memory that she wants to forget. So when you do a show like this, it's all brought up. Bro, I noticed that when I was writing Total Nonstop Agony, it was all in there. And as for as much as I wanted to keep it in, it came out. So I can understand Dixie not wanting to put herself through that. It would have been very emotional and it would have been very tough. But on the other side of that coin, Coach, she got hammered. I mean, she got hammered. And I don't know if that's the right decision, because there's got to be a point where you defend yourself.
Correct.
Got to be a point and say, wait a minute, I did A, B, C, and D because of. So
Russo's right with this, because the fact that she's not in this at all is mind blowing. Now, if you just want to forget about that part of your life, that's fine. But they're saying, but the things that they're saying now, I don't think nothing crazy was said to defame Dixie in this documentary for her to like have some reaction or anything like that. This was pretty much work stuff. There were no allegations really when it came to this. And let's continue to hear what they have to say. But I do believe that she should say something.
If you don't let us know that side of it, then we don't know. So like I said, man, I understand her not participating, but I don't know if that was the right move. What would you have done, Coach, in her shoes?
Man, so the only thing I can equate it to is getting asked to be a part of Vince's documentaries, 2 different ones. And I had to weigh out weighed out the decision of, would it do anything for me? And if I'm Dixie Carter, I would have to say, at this point in my life, I don't know how old she is now. And I don't know, what she's working on now. But if she's not in the industry, if she doesn't need good PR for whatever she's working on now, then maybe she doesn't have social media. Maybe she doesn't care if she gets pounded by everybody that's in it. Because I have not watched the 3rd installment yet. I'm going to watch it today. But if I'm at an age of 70 or 75 and I'm just kind of enjoying my life at this point, I don't know that I would do it. But knowing me, I would want to defend myself, because I would know I did a lot of good work. And you tell me if I'm wrong here. Without her, there is no TNA to even speak of, correct?
There is no TNA today without Dixie Carter. And that's what people need to understand. Coach, what happened was I literally was consulting for the WWE.
Okay.
Jeff wanted me to write for TNA. So I went to Stephanie, who was my boss. I said, listen, I don't want you reading this in the dirt sheets. I'm going to TNA to check out the show, because I don't know if I want to be a consultant. I might want to go work with Jeff,
Dig in.
So, yeah. So I went to the second show, the absolute second show. And basically when that show was over, it was just me and Jeff. And Jeff was starting to drink a little, and I could tell something was really upsetting him. So Jeff basically told me, now keep in mind, I just turned down the WWE and said I was going to go work for Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff told me that he lost his backer. They lost their money the second show.
Between 1 and 2.
Between 1 and 2. No, the second show was complete.
Okay.
The second show was complete.
Okay.
They lose it. They're gone. He doesn't have any money. The backers are gone. He doesn't know what to do.
All right, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat, but I believe Russo's referring to the second episode that was on TV, not the pay-per-view version of TNA.
Literally, Coach, I think it was like 3 days after that, I'm at Jeff's house. And my family was there with his family, and Jeff takes me to the side, and he says to me, you know Dixie Carter, who's doing our PR? I said, yes. Mm-hmm. And he said, She told me that maybe I should have a conversation with her parents because they own a big energy company in Dallas. Nobody knew this. None of us knew it. And I think the next day, Jeff went and met with the Carters, and that's when they agreed and came up with a deal to put their money up. Without that happening, TNA's done.
So how many? So I've got a lot of questions here. So how many talent at that point?
So Dixie Carter is responsible for saving TNA, because as Russo just said, that if she doesn't work for the company already, there's a high chance and high probability that TNA doesn't make it past that second show.
Since you're 2 episodes in, had Jeff convinced to sign with TNA, and were there any like exclusive deals where like, hey, we have the money, so you're going to come over and it's going to be a year or two? Did he have names that were locked in just for TNA, and was there that pressure as well?
Oh, I'm sure there were names locked in because money was not an object. He had a budget. They knew what it was going to cost, and he had a backer taking care of everything. That went away like that. TNA's dead. It's over.
So how fast between that night, the meeting with Dixie Carter's parents, did they write a check and make it seem seamless, like there was never an issue?
Within a week.
Wow. How much do you think they put in?
Within a week. Oh, my God. Honestly, I have no idea. But it was that fast. It was within a week because we did not miss a week. We did not miss a beat.
So let me ask you this, because right now, obviously, Tony Khan used Dad's money. But
all right. So that was Vince Russo giving you pretty much the quick version of Dixie Carter's involvement when it comes to TNA wrestling and her contributions. So we know Dixie Carter, her family funds the company, and Dixie starts to want control. And then she would eventually bring in Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. And bringing in Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff, Russo, skeptical about them coming in. He knew they wanted power, and that's essentially when the downfall begins. And I'm paraphrasing a bit, but MJF talked about this when he was on Ariel Helwani's show. He said that AEW bad. There were bad things going on, and it's hard to get the stench off of something for people. And that era of Jeff Jarrett being gone was the stench that TNA has, and they fought for 16 years to get off of them, because that is what a lot of people know TNA for, is the things that happened with Dixie, Hogan, Bischoff, and then they even talk about the guys that they brought in. They talked about how Hogan was bringing in all his buddies. If you were a friend of Hulk Hogan, you had a job, and that was a part of the downfall of the company. And also, we had the situation where Hogan's leaving. He has his creative control card, and Hogan, he's just going to go.
No, brother, doesn't work for me.
So there's an angle where Hogan says he quits, and Dixie pretty much on her knees is holding his leg, begging him to stay. And fast forward a few years later, Dixie's gone. The company sold the Anthem. Jarrett frees GFW. The GFW doesn't last long. It folds in 2017. And as I stated before, the new owners, they would contact Jeff to run and to collaborate and kind of bring the band back together. And Jeff would soon realize that it's not the same, and GFW will fold, and that invasion/partnership will end shortly. Now, also, of course, that Dixie, she was also about money, and she treated Jeff Jarrett very poorly, and she had Jarrett come back to television to run the angle with Kurt and Karen based off of real life circumstances. And we all know that real life circumstances, that always works in wrestling. And the feud that did actually work, I remember watching that feud thinking that this was real, that Jarrett really stole Karen from Kurt, but Karen pretty much cleared all that up in the first 2 episodes about the situation amongst them. Now we have Jeff Jarrett and Karen Angle. They did react to the entire show, so we're going to talk about what Karen and Jeff had to say about Dixie Carter. Fair use.
We'll let the Queen tackle this one. Elvis Presley, 7215, wants to know, would you reconcile with Dixie if she wanted to?
No,
Oh, yes, you would.
no, I wouldn't.
Yes, you would.
Not now. Not now. I'm so mad at myself, Conrad, for even
Don't care.
entertaining a conversation with her at Hulk's funeral. After finding out the things that I found out through this,
They're painful. I get it.
the company wasn't in bad shape that Jeff had to be taken out of control.
We know that.
Yeah, like, and I know also, no, she could apologize, which she never has to him. She's never owned her shit to him. I want nothing to do with that woman, and I will go to my grave feeling the way I do about her.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I will. I'm not you.
Oh, Conrad, would you stop stirring the pot?
I'm just asking the questions that fans are asking. Eric Morse says, Jeff, do you know why Dixie didn't interview for Dark Side of the Ring? And would you have liked to have heard her side of the story in an interview? I could see as a producer why Evan and Jason would want, point, counterpoint. Let's hear it from all sides. I get that. I do think it's a missed opportunity to have her presence there, but this is probably going to be the deepest dive that most people are ever going to take into her contributions to wrestling one way or another. This feels like the final note. What do you think about that, Jeff?
I mean, but look, I was just Eric Morse, 85. I appreciate it. And I understand you're not aware, but I've said in multiple interviews, I'll retell the story. I was on a Dark Side of the Ring producer call, and the group, you could kind of tell them going around on a Zoom call. And I just spoke up and it says, hey, do y'all want me to call Dixie? Because the topic was getting Dixie Carter on the show. And they were like, would you? And I said, well, hell yeah. I hung up the phone, texted her. That was before I walked in the gym. A couple hours later, she responded back. I said, hey, let's jump on a call. We jumped on a call. And I strongly encouraged her to get on the phone and call them back. And she said she would, and she did. But I said, Dixie, you need to tell, in my opinion, you need to tell, do an interview. Let them sit you down and you tell your story and you tell your reasons. Tell it all. Yes, I would have really, really liked for her.
So that's something
to have been a part.
So Jared just hit the nail on the head right there. So that's something that could have actually happened. A lot of times when people make business decisions, they have a perspective about it. And we're not sure what Dixie's perspective was on what or why she made these decisions. A lot of times decisions we make, when it's explained to us, it makes sense. But when it happens, it doesn't. So that's something that could have actually happened if Dixie chose to be on this documentary. Like I said, I don't think there was anything that was defaming about Dixie at all said in this documentary. I think a lot of this is pretty much straightforward. Let's continue.
Part of it.
Well, we know we got the,
and that doesn't just come from I want to make sure this isn't. I'm not looking. I'm talking about as a producer. I think it'd been great from a personal point of view. I'm Karen ain't gonna like this. I got a lot of compassion for her.
We're going to fight tonight.
When you really drill down and kind of, it's God bless her, because Karen's right. We found out more things than we thought we understood. And when you have the hindsight of 15 years later and lots of water under the bridge, and the results, everything. You know, it is what it is.
Hey, we went through 15 years of people talking shit. We finally told our story. She can deal with it now. Did she ever defend Jeff in any of that? Did she ever speak up? There are people in this doc that cannot stand each other, but they all agree on one thing. She was incompetent and way out of, I don't even know the word. Fuck
So,
her.
I wish Karen had a strong opinion. I wish the Queen had a strong opinion. Jeff, we know how she feels. Let's say hypothetically, I don't think it's going to happen, but hypothetically, if your phone rang tomorrow about 10:15 and said, "Hey Jeff, why don't we meet for lunch at Arnold's?" Would you go?
Who's calling me?
Dixie Carter.
Sure.
Well, that's what I expect.
I think we need to do a dark side with the knockouts so everybody can hear what they think of her.
You know, Miss Karen, since I got you on your soapbox, and I love when you're up there, you look graceful
sweating.
up there.
I'm sweating.
Let's wrap this. There's no upside to this.
No, sincerely, I do want to get, her take on this. And I know that episode 3 is maybe not top of your mind right now, but I know you got hot and bothered through this process. And I want to just table the Dixie talk for a minute.
Okay.
And I know that I'm not asking you to dunk on anybody, but did you, besides Eric Bischoff, was there anybody else that you took issue with some of their positions? Or was it more of a learning thing for you? Like, oh, I didn't know they saw it that way. Bless their heart, they didn't have all the information.
For Eric, it was disappointing for me because I had conversations with him where he spoke very differently about her.
Right.
Me.
What's he gonna say?
Yeah.
At this point,
no, yeah.
it doesn't
and that's
reflect.
I don't have any issues with anything that anybody said. I mean, everybody was telling a story from their point of view.
Right.
The thing with Vince Russo saying that, nothing changed for him. I don't know if maybe his answer was taken out of context because everything changed at that time. So I'm not sure if there was more to that answer and maybe that was just a clip, but I have no other issues. I got upset when I heard what Eric said because to me, and what was voiced to me on several occasions, what he said on the doc was completely opposite.
Right.
I got played.
My name is Sergio.
All right, so that was Karen Jarrett and her thoughts about Dixie Carter in the documentary as well. And one thing I do want to point out, because she did say this and bring this name up, if you guys don't remember Awesome Kong was a mainstay and a focal point of the knockouts in TNA during her tenure there. And in the documentary, she discussed that Dixie has a recorded segment that has the entire roster sitting down saying, look, you see that you're going to support me, or if you don't, that you're going to have to work somewhere else. And Awesome Kong, aka Kia Stevens, she didn't like that. I'll put it that way. And Karen said, "Ask the knockouts, what do you think about her?" And Kia Stevens, she was the only knockout that was on this documentary. And as Karen said, it's very interesting to see what the knockouts would actually say. Awesome Kong did make a comment on the first 2 episodes about how the knockouts were paid very little and how the knockouts were making like McDonald's manager wages or fast food wages. But I'm interested to see if any of the knockouts actually speak up about what really went on with Dixie and TNA. And around that time, Kia Stevens, aka Awesome Kong, she would leave for WWE and would be known as Karma. But as she debuted, she would get pregnant and never really got to make an impact in WWE at all. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about all three parts of Dark Side of the Ring. Let me know what you guys think about Dixie Carter. Let me know what you guys think about Russo, Jarrett, Karen, Kurt, anything. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, guys. All right. Current World Tag Team Champion Bron. Current World Tag Team Champion Bron Breakker seems to be frustrated. Bron Breakker, who recently regained the World Tag Team Championship alongside Austin Theory a few weeks ago on Raw, he has been unhappy. It's being reported that he is unhappy with his role and has been talking to WWE Creative. Now, when it comes to Bron Breakker, he has a very interesting take, because when it comes to Bron Breakker, current World Tag Team Champion Bron Breakker, he seems to be very unhappy with his role in WWE. And it's easy to actually think about it. Bron Breakker, he recently regained the Tag Team Championships alongside Austin Theory, but Bron Breakker was supposed to be destined for bigger things. Bron Breakker was supposed to be challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship or in the main event scene, but it has not happened or played out in that way. And a lot of that has to do with injuries, and not just of his own. Injuries to his opponents, supposedly Seth Rollins, injuries to himself, injuries to his entire faction division. It derailed what would actually be some plans for Bron Breakker. Now, Bron Breakker, as I just said, it's not fault of his. And Bron Breakker would essentially not be in the position that he was supposed to be in throughout the year. Now, you kind of got to feel bad for Bron Breakker, because last year, me and Eric were doing videos about how excited we were about Bron Breakker becoming the future becoming now, because Bron Breakker becoming in the division was supposed to mold him into become the big guy of the company, possibly facing Roman Reigns or main event in SummerSlam right now, and being seen as a big deal as, for example, the Obafemi role. But injuries to both Rollins and himself derailed that. Did he have his matches with Rollins over the past few months? Yes, but when the storyline that was supposed to get him there was derailed because Rollins is hurt, and then he ended up getting hurt. So they did not get the WrestleMania match. They got a Backlash match. Although that match was fantastic, it was not the same or had the same effect as him having a WrestleMania moment would be. Now, he would make his return at WrestleMania, and he would cost Seth Rollins his match at WrestleMania against Gunther. But when it comes to Bron Breakker, there was supposed to be more. And you kind of got to feel for Bron Breakker. You really do. This guy should be at a higher position. But right now, the entire Vision stable has been hit with the injury bug. It's like the Vision has become an infirmary. The only person that's been healthy essentially has been Austin Theory. But Logan Paul, Bronson Reed, himself, Seth, all those people were hurt. And it was never supposed to be that. This was supposed to be a healthy stable that built up Bron Breakker to become potentially the heavyweight champion of the world. But he seemed to be a bit of an afterthought and not in that Obafemi role like we thought he would actually be in, main eventing and headlining big pay-per-views, because I think there's money in Bron Breakker, but I think he's also a lot of momentum, and they got to find something for him quick. I'm not sure if he has a branch off from the Vision, but even a feud with his other Vision mates would not move the needle at all. Unless Bronson Reed's ready to go, that's the only thing, because I don't think a feud with Logan Paul or Austin Theory is actually going to do anything for Bron Breakker at all. Bron Breakker has to break out of the Vision. He has to kind of regain that momentum. Maybe another IC championship run, or he needs to go on some kind of monster run, because Bron Breakker, he needs something big time to regain his momentum and to be seen as that main event player that we know he can actually be. So let me know what you guys think in the comments about Bron Breakker potentially not being happy with his creative direction. And what do you guys think Bron Breakker should be doing? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So, all right, everybody. So, if anybody, I'm going to thank everybody who sat here during my technical difficulties that I had. So, as always, guys, thumbs up, turn on your post notifications, anything for the algorithm. I'm Alo Aaron Lloyd, and I will see you guys soon.
Got him now, put him down right now, hit him with the palm handle. Tuning up the band, y'all don't understand. Fist of Superman, it's a SummerSlam. Here we go again. Fans marking man, I hate my balls. Shut the Vince McMahon, it ain't shake the land off the cell. Fans love it, ain't hard to tell. Talking madness, awesome. Well, what I'm cooking, man, y'all off the smell.